No teaser, no countdown, no massive promotion, yet somehow the entire global music industry paused. Again, because of one name, Jimin. In early 2026, when most fans expected silence, Jimin quietly achieved something that instantly rewrote K-pop solo history. Without standing on a stage, without releasing a brand new single, his name surged back into global charts, brand rankings, and international media headlines. And that's exactly why this moment hit differently. What makes this achievement shocking isn't just the numbers, it's the timing. Jimin is currently in a phase where most artists fade from public attention. No comeback cycle, no heavy marketing, no viral dance challenge pushed by labels. And yet, global platforms showed the same pattern. His influence didn't drop, it intensified. Industry analysts began asking the same question: how is this possible? The answer lies in something deeper than music releases. Jimin's digital presence, streaming consistency, and brand impact proved that his connection with fans operates on a level few artists ever reach. His previous works continued pulling massive daily streams, while his name remained one of the most searched K-pop artists worldwide. Fans noticed it first. Social media timelines filled with the same reaction: disbelief. Many armies admitted they didn't even realize a milestone was approaching until it already happened. That's when the news spread fast, jumping from fan communities to global entertainment outlets. What truly sets this moment apart is that it didn't rely on hype, it relied on legacy. Jimin's artistry, reputation, and emotional connection with listeners created a momentum that no pause could stop. In a music industry obsessed with constant visibility, he just proved that real impact doesn't expire. This achievement now places Jimin in a category beyond traditional K-pop success. He's no longer measured only by comeback results or promotional cycles, but by sustained global relevance, something even Western pop stars struggle to maintain. And perhaps that's the real headline here. This wasn't about breaking a record once again. It was about proving that even in silence, Jimin's presence is loud enough to shake the industry. While the world waits for his next official move, one thing is already clear. Jimin didn't just make history, he reminded everyone why his name never leaves it. The impact didn't stop at headlines. Behind the scenes, data told an even bigger story. Streaming platforms showed an unusual pattern. Instead of the typical rise and fall curve, Jimin's songs maintained a steady global pull, day after day. For industry insiders, this is the hardest kind of success to achieve: longevity without constant promotion. It's the kind of influence labels spend years trying to manufacture, yet Jimin reached it organically. International brands quietly took notice. Marketing analysts began pointing out how Jimin's name alone could trigger spikes in engagement, even without a campaign attached. In an era where attention is fragmented and short-lived, his presence continued to cut through the noise. That's when experts started saying it out loud. This wasn't just popularity anymore, it was cultural gravity. Fans, meanwhile, reacted in their own way. Instead of loud celebrations, many chose reflection. Old performances resurfaced, lyrics were reshared. Moments from years ago trended again, as if the fandom collectively decided to revisit why they fell in love with his artistry in the first place. It felt less like a victory lap, and more like a quiet acknowledgement of something rare. What makes this moment even more powerful is the contrast. While newer artists fight algorithms and trends to stay visible, Jimin's work continues to travel on its own. His music doesn't chase the moment finds his music. And that distinction is exactly why this achievement carries weight far beyond charts. Industry veterans now place Jimin in conversations usually reserved for long-term global icons, artists whose relevance survives gaps, shifts, and changing tastes, not because they shout louder, but because their work leaves a permanent mark. And this is where the story becomes bigger than Jimin himself. His latest achievement has subtly changed expectations for K-pop soloists. It challenges the idea that success must always be loud, fast, and constant. It proves that authenticity, emotional depth, and consistency can outperform even the most aggressive promotional strategy. As 2026 continues to unfold, the anticipation isn't just about when Jimin will return, it's about how much bigger the impact will be when he does. Because if this is what he can accomplish in silence, the industry already knows one thing for sure. When Jimin finally speaks again through music, the world will listen. And that expectation is exactly what's making the industry uneasy. Because moments like this don't happen often. An artist maintaining, even expanding global relevance without actively pushing content forces labels, marketers, and media to rethink the rules they've relied on for years. Jimin's case is now being studied not as a trend, but as a blueprint that can't easily be copied. The reason is simple. His influence isn't built on visibility alone, it's built on trust. Listeners don't just stream his music out of habit, they return to it for comfort, emotion, and meaning. That kind of bond can't be engineered by algorithms or replicated by aggressive promotion. It's earned slowly, over time, through consistency and sincerity. What's fascinating is how this moment unfolded almost accidentally. There was no announcement celebrating the achievement, no official statement amplifying it. The news spread because fans noticed patterns, compared data, and connected the dots themselves. By the time mainstream media caught up, the impact was already undeniable. This organic discovery gave the story more weight. It didn't feel manufactured, it felt real. As discussions grew, one theme kept repeating across platforms: longevity. In an industry obsessed with what's new, Jimin became a reminder of what lasts. His name now sits in a rare space, where past work remains relevant, present influence stays strong, and future expectations continue to rise. And that's where the pressure shifts. The next chapter of Jimin's career isn't just about numbers anymore. It's about scale, about how an artist who already commands global attention without trying will redefine success once he fully returns to the spotlight. Until that moment arrives, one thing is certain. This achievement wasn't an ending, it was a signal that Jimin's story is unfolding unfolding, and the quiet chapters may be just as powerful as the loud ones. And now, that signal is impossible to ignore. Across global fan communities, conversations have shifted from what just happened to what comes next. There's a growing sense that this phase, the quiet dominance, the unforced relevance, is actually laying the foundation for something much bigger. Not a comeback driven by hype, but a return shaped by purpose. Music insiders have started framing this moment as a turning point. They point out that artists who reach this level of sustained influence often redefine their roles entirely. They stop chasing charts and start shaping narratives, and that's exactly where Jimin seems to be heading. What's striking is how patient this journey feels. There's no rush, no panic to stay visible, just a steady confidence that when the time is right, the impact will speak for itself. In an industry that rewards speed, Jimin is proving the power of timing. Fans sense it too. The anticipation isn't loud, it's focused. Instead of demanding updates, many are simply waiting, trusting that whatever comes next will carry the same emotional weight that defined his past work. That trust, once again, is the core of this story. Because history shows that artists who master silence often return with clarity, and clarity, in the long run, lasts longer than noise. So while this achievement may look like a quiet milestone on the surface, its meaning runs deeper. It marks the moment when Jimin stopped being measured by activity and started being measured by impact. And when that shift happens, it doesn't just change a career, it changes the standard. And that new standard is already reshaping the conversation around global artists. For years, success in pop music has been defined by visibility, constant updates, non-stop releases, and aggressive promotion. But Jimin's recent achievement quietly challenges that formula. It suggests that true influence isn't about how often an artist appears, but how deeply they're remembered. Observers now describe this phase as post-idol Jimin, not because he's leaving that identity behind, but because he's expanding beyond it. His name no longer represents just performance or popularity. It represents emotional credibility. When people talk about his work, they don't just mention numbers, they talk about feeling. That distinction matters. In a digital world overloaded with content, emotion is what survives. And Jimin's catalog continues to live in playlists, memories, and late-night listening sessions long after trends move on. What makes this even more remarkable is how natural it feels. There's no dramatic reinvention, no sudden shift in image, just growth. Steady, quiet, undeniable. The kind that doesn't ask for attention yet commands it anyway. As analysts revisit his journey, one conclusion keeps surfacing. This wasn't accidental. Every phase of Jimin's career built toward this moment. The discipline, the vulnerability, the artistic risks. Together, they created an artist whose relevance doesn't depend on momentum alone, but on meaning. So when people ask why this achievement feels different, the answer is simple. It isn't about breaking one more record. It's about reaching a place where success sustains itself. And once an artist arrives there, the industry never looks at them the same way again.